Hey guys, welcome back. So in the last video, we started collecting images from Google and ArtStation so we can start building up our reference board in PureRef. The amount of references that you gather is really up to self-preference, but to keep things a little more simple and easier to look at, we have a good amount to start with. The goal in this video is that we're going to kind of break apart our collection here and just pick out the images that we like the most, that resonates with how we are feeling about what we want to design, and use those favorite images as our main inspiration board. Everything else we can keep on the side as extra images to look at when we need additional references. Now let's start breaking apart our images here so we can build up our main board of inspiration. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to actually make this cover my entire screen. So to move the canvas, you can right click on your mouse and hold, and then you can move the canvas around. You can also move inside the canvas if you middle mouse click and drag around, or you can do Alt left click and drag around. Just easy navigation for your reference. I think I had forgotten to mention that in the previous video, but just wanted to get that covered in case you had not figured that out yet. So we can make this cover the entire screen if we do Control and F. And we can also have this floating above the window or always be on top if we do Control Shift and A. You'll see a little notification that'll pop up that it has been enabled or disabled. To disable it, it's the same hotkeys. So I'm going to enable this again, Control Shift A, and you'll see that always on top is enabled. Now I'm going to do Control F to expand the screen so that it covers my entire monitor. Alright, so I'm going to start out with these references. So we made some notes here, and I'll just drop some notes here as well. Remember, the hotkey for that is Control N, and I'll just organize things for the sake of organization. So something like that. And actually we do have some armor images that we can, well, the one with the axe, we can keep that separate. Actually, let's drag this up here too. Because if we look at these references, we'll see that these images, some of them have weapons included in as well. So we'll keep these as a separate collection for now. And now let's start thinking about which pieces we like the most out of this collection right here. So for the elf that I want to design, I'm thinking something that's more in between of complex and simple. So something that's interesting to look at, but it's not too complex and it's not too simple, and something interesting. So I really like the design on this one right here. And so I'm going to drag this one out actually. What I like to do is drag it out and just basically build up another board. And then I'll give it a note saying like main inspiration. Like so. So we picked out our first image here, and so I think the armor that we're going to do is we'll have some scales in it as well, and our elf character is going to be a warrior type, so we'll have some scales on the armor and maybe some skulls, or something that's a little more elegant maybe, and then some of this kind of swirl pattern here but we have other references that we can look at. And this one is actually, I really like this one actually. So I'm going to drop this one here too. And let's see. I do like this concept here. I like how he is wearing armor, but it's not covering his entire body. We can do some anatomy work and show off some anatomy on our character as well. So maybe we'll do something like this and sort of a combination of this sort of design. So maybe we'll have like the shoulder pad armors, this kind of design, but with this kind of look with this kind of design, if that makes sense. So I'm going to drop this guy over here as well. And I do like how, I think if we're going to do something that's showing a little more skin, we can either have boots or not. Right now I'm thinking maybe we'll just focus on the top half of his body, like the torso up to his head, as the bare skin part. Like we'll just have armor covering his shoulders, and then on the legs he'll be fully clothed, so he'll be wearing boots as well. So we don't really have any visible boots in these references, so we'll go back to our reference images here and see if there's anything that can go well. This actually looks nice. Actually, this piece looks nice. So if we take this piece and put it next to these, how would that look? We'll just keep that there. And maybe we can do something more like this, because this is a little more simpler. It's not too complicated in terms of the forms and shapes. We can do something like this, but bring in some of this concept of the golden edges around the edges of this, but make it a little more curvy. And we'll have those designs inside of the frame. So for those shoes, we'll do a combination of these two. And for the armor and the clothing, or the character and the anatomy, we'll do a combination of these. So I'll just make another note here. And just to reiterate, that is Control N. All right, so now we have a main inspiration board. And then all these other stuff we can keep over here as additional content we can look at if needed. And I always like to try to keep things a little organized, just for my sanity. And remember to align things in PureRef, you can hold Control, and you can either press whichever directional key on your keyboard. So if you do left, it'll align everything to the left, up, up, right, right, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to organize these a little bit as well. And that's looking good. Actually, I'll bring my anatomy down here, because the anatomy is an important part of the first stages as well. All right, so now that I have my main board of inspiration, all set up, and my anatomy board down below, and the others on the side and all organized, I can start doing the concepting and thinking about the design. So now we have our references all gathered with our main inspiration set up, our anatomy, armors, and weapons. We can always gather more references further down the pipeline as we develop. But for now, I think we are at a good saving point, so I highly suggest that you save. And remember to save frequently so you don't lose any work. In the next video, we're going to start to dive into the development for the concept of our elf character.